Hello, welcome back. Today I've got a bit of a makeup reset. Mostly we're going to be decluttering my lipsticks. I'm going to go through, swatch every single one that I have, decide which ones we're going to keep, which ones we're going to declutter. It's not going to be like the most ruthless declutter, but I definitely want to move some things out that I'm not using. I also want to do a mini kind of shop my stash, maybe not like a full-on shop my stash, but I want to switch out my everyday makeup drawers. I got to wash my brushes. So we're going to be resetting everything, and I figured I would take you along with me today. So let's jump in. All right, so we reorganized these in a recent video. I can leave it linked down below. But I really want to declutter my lipstick drawer. I feel like the other drawers are doing fine, but this lipstick drawer, there are definitely products that I think I could get rid of. So I'm thinking we'll go through these separately. So these are all organized for the most part. Like these are regular lipsticks, these are liquid lipsticks, glosses, lip oils, sticks, and then stains down here. So I'm thinking I can go through these all separately. So why don't we start with this basket of regular lipsticks, which as you can see is kind of overflowing. I have a few lip products that are in my everyday makeup drawer, which I do also want to go through, but if they're in the everyday makeup drawer, I definitely want to keep them because I have used them recently and I love them. Here we go. I just already know I need to declutter a lot of these, but let's start with some of the nudes. This is Baby Bellini from the Lip Bar. This has been one of my favorite nudes for such a long time. Such a pretty shade. Definitely want to keep this one. And then I have Liar from Urban Decay. I actually liked the old formula of these a little bit better. I don't love the new Vice lipsticks quite as much, but that's Liar. It's slightly different than that. I'm thinking I'm going to keep both because I still do find myself using Liar like a good amount. I also have a few of the Sigma Infinity Point lipsticks. This is the shade Ecstasy. I'm feeling like this one I might be able to declutter. This one is more of a red. I mean, I don't know, it's so pretty. Okay, wait. I'm gonna put this in a maybe pile, but I do wanna keep at least like one or two reds. And this formula I do really enjoy. So actually I'll put this in maybe, we'll come back to it. Another red that I have is this one from Milani. This is the I Am Bold lipstick in the shade I Am Bold. This formula is a really nice, pretty matte. You can see it's slightly different. Ecstasy is a little bit deeper with a little bit more of a blue undertone, whereas I Am Bold has a lot more pink in it. This is one of my favorite lipsticks, so I definitely want to keep I Am Bold. I have a couple lipsticks that I've made from Bite. I've made these at the Lip Lab. They have 2 locations in New York, one in Soho and one in Williamsburg, but they also have these in a bunch of other cities, so these are my 2 shades. I have another one somewhere. But this one is called Me, Myself, and I, because this one was like, this is a little bit more of a sheer nude, and this was supposed to be like my perfect lip shade. So when I made it in the store, she helped me customize this to basically be my lips but better. And then this one is just called Kelly, and it is also obviously a nude. Honestly, you're probably looking at it like, Kelly girl, it is so similar to Liar and to the one from the Lip Bar, but I can't declutter this. It's my custom shade, so I definitely want to keep it. You know what I think I probably will declutter though is this one from e.l.f. These are the O-Face lipsticks. I liked these. You know, it's pretty pricey at $9, and it's not a bad lipstick formula. I just don't know that I love this shade. It pulls a little bit too mauvey cool tone for my preference. The shade is called Dirty Talk, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that one. I have another Sigma Infinity Point lipstick. This is the shade New Mod. I'm thinking I might declutter this. Let's see how it looks next to everything else. Okay, yeah. This one, I don't always love this shade on myself, even though I love this formula. As you can see, the shade is very similar. Actually almost identical to the e.l.f. one that we just watched of Dirty Talk. So it's like the same concept where it's slightly more of a cool toned mauve shade nude, which I don't always love on myself. So while it's pretty, I just don't wear it that much. So I'm gonna declutter that one. I have another Bite lipstick, which, you know, this is not even a brand anymore, so that tells you how long I've had this. This is the shade Sugar Buns, and I know you're like, Kelly, it's so similar to those two. And yet I still really like this one on myself. It's hard to explain, but this has a little bit more pink in it, whereas these two almost have a bit more gray to the undertone. So I actually really like Sugar Buns, especially with a darker lip liner. I also have a couple from BK Beauty. So I have Self Love and Kindness. Let's go ahead and swatch Self Love first. This one you can see quite a bit different than the other ones. I mean, I'm using that loose stick. These are all very similar nude shades, but this one has a little bit more pink in it. Let me swatch the other one next to it and decide, because maybe I'll declutter one of these two. Let's see. Yeah, this one is Kindness. I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter Self-Love and keep Kindness, because this is just a little too bright pink for my preference, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that one. So that makes 7 declutters, 3 keeps so far, so not the best numbers, but not bad. Oh, here's my other one from Bite. It is looking crusty. This one is the one I made years ago. I really do not wear this because I made this in 2016. It's actually like crusty and gross. So I don't wear this anymore, but I just can't declutter it. But let me go ahead and swatch it for you. This I made, was it 2016, maybe 2017? Actually, no, earlier than that. It is older than that. This might have been 2015. This I made the first time I ever came to New York City. It just has such sentimental value for me. So even though it is absolutely disgusting and barely opens and is crusty, I can't get rid of it. So I'm not ever going to put this on my lips again, but I want to have it. I have another Sigma Infinity Point. This one is in Peach Tea. Let me go ahead and swatch this and see. I don't think I'm going to keep this just because, again, it's like similar to those other shades that I don't love on myself. Do you see what I mean? It just has a little bit more of that like gray base to it. It's a little bit deeper. I tend to like my like bullet lipsticks like this to be pretty light because I like to pair them with a deeper lip liner and get a little bit of that shadowy, almost contoured look. So this, again, I love the formula. I just don't think the shade is for me. So I'm gonna declutter that one. I have 2 Old Vice lipsticks from Urban Decay. Again, these are pretty old, but I think I'm gonna keep them because, I mean, they both smell fine. Nothing has like changed in the formula, and I prefer this older formula. So I've got Back Talk and Stark Naked. Stark Naked, I have such little left of, like, that's it. I've had this lipstick for a while and I genuinely think I will use it up, but let me swatch it over here next to the one from the Lip Bar because it's pretty similar. The Lip Bar one has a little bit more, I would say brown in it, whereas Stark Naked's maybe more peach, but very similar shade. Stark Naked's a little bit more matte though. And then Back Talk is more of a pink, which I don't always like, but this shade is actually really pretty. I don't know though, I'm like, should I declutter this? Looking at the other ones I've decluttered, I do find myself wearing this more though. But I will say, I think I'm gonna declutter this one actually, because comparing it to Sugar Buns from Bite, I feel like Sugar Buns serves the same purpose for me, and I just don't wear Back Talk that often. So I actually will declutter that one. I'm running out of room on my arm, but let's move on. This one is a stain actually, so I'm not gonna, we'll do this when we do the stains. I'm not sure why it's in here. I also have Art Walk from Urban Decay. This is a brighter pink. And this one I actually do really like. You see, it's very different than the others. The other ones definitely pull more nude, where you could make this more neutral depending on the lip liner, but it's more like a fun pop of color. So even though I don't wear it too often, I do enjoy having it. This one from Keys Soul Care, I wouldn't normally gravitate to, but I think it adds a lot of value to my collection. It's a really pretty shade. It is called Manifestation, and it looks like this bright orange in the tube, but you'll see on the skin, you have to like really build it up to get any color there, which is why I like it. It's this like sheer lip balm and you just get this pretty wash of color. I think it's beautiful in summertime, so even though I don't wear it too often, I really enjoy having it, so I definitely want to keep that one. One more nude. I think these are being discontinued. This is the Seriously Satin Lipstick formula from e.l.f. and this is the shade Cream, and I love this as a center of the lip shade. You can see it's actually really different than all the others because it is like way lighter. This on its own is like concealer lips, but if you pair it with a deeper lip liner, it is gorgeous. One more from that line. This is Persimmon. This is like the most perfect orange ever. Like, I love this. I have not worn an orange lip in a while. I actually should wear this again soon. It's so pretty. So I definitely want to keep that one. These two are dupes for one another, but I will show you both. We've got Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk and Milani Secret. I'm going to go ahead and keep both, even though they are kind of the same shade, but the Charlotte Tilbury one I have as a mini, but Secret really is like the perfect dupe for it. I feel like they look different swatched here because I didn't apply as much pressure with the Charlotte Tilbury one, but trust me, They are like basically identical. These two are color changing, so I don't know how much you'll see in the swatch, but I still will swatch both. This is the American Eagle e.l.f. collab, and this is from Catrice. This is one of their sparkly lips. This is just called the Catrice Sparkle Lip Balm. I'm actually thinking of decluttering both of these, but let me share the swatches. The e.l.f. one looks blue in the tube, and for a color changing lip balm, it pulls much more cool tone than many of the others because of that blue base, so I don't actually like it because of that. The Catrice one looks like so cool and sparkly in the tube, but I really don't see the sparkles on the lips, to be honest, so it really doesn't look like much. It's basically a lip balm, but eventually you get a little bit of that pink. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that. I have decided I'm gonna keep Ecstasy because now that we've swatched them all out, I do think it stands out. So let's go ahead and put these back in. Okay, this is already way better because they're no longer overflowing, but let's move on to the next category. All right, up next is lip oils, but one bonus BK Beauty one I thought I had swatched, but this actually fell out into the other drawer, so I will share this one. This is the shade Inner Beauty. I'm just gonna do it on the back of my hand. Honestly, it is also reminding me of some of the other ones that I just don't love the shade of on myself, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that one. Okay, so these are mostly like, oh, here's another one that fell out. Okay, sorry, this one spilled over to the other side. So this is also from e.l.f., but I think I'm gonna declutter this one actually. This is another one of the Seriously Satin lipsticks. This shade is called Nectar, and I just have not worn it in so long, so I'm gonna declutter that. That brings us up to 9 in the declutter pile, and now we're gonna do, these are mostly just like lip oils and hydrating lip products. So for funsies, I will swatch all of these, but let's be real, I don't think you're gonna see much of a difference or even see much for a lot of these, but starting off with this one from Merit. The only thing I don't like about the Merit lip oils is the tiny little applicator that they have. I have the shade Maraschino, and it is this like pretty sheer reddish pink. Again, I don't think you're gonna see too much in these swatches, but I do like this formula. Again, I just wish the doe foot was larger, but I'm gonna keep it. Okay, now we have one of these Sigma Renew lip oils. This one is in the shade Tint. This is a much more respectable doe foot size in my opinion. Like, this is what I'm looking for. I like something a little bit chunkier. This is a little more of like a nude lip oil. It's a really pretty shade, so definitely want to keep this. They just came out with a cream formula of these, so less sheer with more pigment. We've also got the super viral NYX Fat lip oil. These are kind of unique because they have a lot more of pigment. That didn't make sense. A lot more pigment than these other ones. You'll see they're not quite as sheer, and they have this delicious like apple pie scent. This shade is called Scrollin'. I would say it's kind of unique in my collection just because it is a bit of a more pigmented, more brown lip oil, so I want to keep that one. Lip oils are my weakness, so I don't know if I'm going to be as good about this declutter, but I'm going to try. This lip mask from Sigma, I definitely want to keep. I think I need to move it out of here because I enjoy this so much, but I don't reach for it when it's in here, so I need to go ahead and just put this actually with like my nighttime skincare routine, so I'm gonna move that over to there, but I really do like this. I have the shade Tint, so same shade as this lip oil. I can probably declutter this one from Lottie London. This is the Plumped AF lip oil. It's basically just a clear lip balm. Like, you're not gonna see anything at all really in the swatch. It's supposed to be plumping. It's not really, because to accurately plump the lips, you have to be like painfully tingly, so I wouldn't say it actually plumps, but I do think it has a nice like juicy finish on the lips because it is just a plumping, a plush sheer gloss, but I'm gonna go ahead and declutter it actually. One that really does plump and is pretty intense is the Derma E Hydrating Lip Plump Treatment. Again, you're not gonna see much in the swatch because it's literally just clear, but if you want a more affordable option for a very intense plumping lip balm, I would try this one. I mean, it's not the most affordable. It's still around $20, but definitely less than like the new Dr. Dennis Gross one. Like, it's a good, somewhat affordable alternative. I have a similar product from Grande also, and you know, how many lip plumpers does one girl need? Probably not this many, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter the Grande one. This one also does give me a pretty nice plump. It is a little bit tingly, not as painful as the others, but also not quite as plumping as the other ones. This one from REM, I think this is just wildly overpriced for how cheap it looks. Like, this packaging is like $5 product. Again, These swatches all look identical. I think I'm gonna declutter this. It's supposed to be a plumping gloss. I don't notice much plumping. It doesn't have a ton of like tingle effect to it, so I'm gonna declutter that one. This one from Kapari, I'm actually so close to using this up. I should move this over with like my hydrating lip products. This is, I don't wear this the same way I wear a lip oil. Like I think of a lip oil as like makeup, and this I more so think of as like a lip treatment. So actually I'm gonna move this somewhere else, but I do enjoy this. I'm pretty close to using it up actually. I'm gonna go ahead and keep both of these e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balms. I think these are being discontinued, which is such a bummer because I really like them. I have the shades Boss Berry and Tough Cookie. Here's the swatch of Boss Berry, and then here is Tough Cookie. I really like the pigment that these have, but you can kind of shear them out. They're also really hydrating. I think discontinuing these, it's just such a mistake. I love this formula. Okay, one of my all-time favorites, the Milani Fruit Fetish lip oils. I have mine in the shade Strawberry Melon. Here's a swatch of it. It has this great doe foot, beautiful pigment, but still has a nice like sheerness to it. Glossy, wears well, smells delicious. Like this is one of my top recommendations. I have two from Prevents. I'm trying to decide if I want to keep both or just one. So I've got Peach Moscato and Plum Merlot. These are both available, or like this brand is what I'm trying to say, is available at Ulta. These are less than $8. They're a true oil, so a very different consistency than these other ones. These are a lot more sticky. This is very, very thin. Because of that though, the wear time is not as nice, but I don't mind reapplying because this actually feels hydrating on my lips because it is just like that true oil texture. Like, do you kind of see the difference here? Like these have a bit more of this thick, sticky texture, so they have a bit more longevity because of that stick. This is just very, very thin and oil-like. I actually think I'm going to declutter Merlot because I just don't wear a deep shade like this too often, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep Peach Moscato. And then this one I definitely wanna keep. This is from I Do Care, and I think this is like such an underrated product. So it is actually kind of like a pH changing product. It applies with a little bit of pink to it, but once it sits on the lips for a bit, I feel like it gets quite bright, so it's really pretty. It always looks nice and juicy, and I really like this formula. So that was actually a good amount of declutters. Like once I move these back in here, it's going to be somewhat empty. Ta-da! And that makes 13 empties so far. Let's move on to the next category. All right, we are now on to like tinted lip balms for the most part. I'm also realizing the other one that we did from Keys Soul Care was supposed to be in here, so I'll move that over later. But let's start off with this other one that I have from Keys Soul Care. I actually don't think that I will be keeping this one, but this is in the shade Inspiration. This is like similar to Clinique Black Honey, if you're familiar with that like super popular shade. I don't think it's for me. I don't love this color on myself, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that one. This from Burt's Bees, I actually really like. I think this is so underrated, especially like over the summer when this style of like a somewhat sheared out reddish lip balm has been so big. I think this color is perfect for that. So this is the shade Rhubarb from their Lip Shimmers. Definitely want to keep that one. I also have two from e.l.f. I don't know if I need to keep both of these. It's tough. So this is the Hydrating Lip Shine. I have the shades Happy and Blissful. Let me go ahead and swatch both. Blissful is definitely a little bit more brown. Again though, these are very sheer products, so you don't see too much of this color. Your lips definitely shine through and adjust the actual tone. I'm trying to decide if I need to keep both or maybe even neither. I like this formula. As you'll see, I've got quite a bit of like similar products like this, and I don't necessarily wear this type of lip too often. So I'm actually thinking I'm gonna go ahead and declutter Blissful, which is the more brown shade, and I will go ahead and keep this nude shade. Next, this is called Chill Pill. That's the name of the shade. This is from Ulta's in-house brand. These are these like chubby lip crayons that I originally bought because I was kind of hoping it might dupe the Tarte ones. It does not, but it is a nice juicy, plump, reflective formula. It just doesn't have the same pigment that the Tarte ones do, but I actually really like this shade, so I'm gonna go keep that one. These I also bought, or one of these I bought, one of them was PR, but I picked this up also hoping it would be a Tarte dupe, but not necessarily. So these are from Flower. This is the Plump Up Lip Gloss. The two shades that I have are Spicy and Toasty, and I actually think this is much closer to the Hourglass formula. So I'm gonna swatch that one next so you can see them all side by side. Definitely keeping these because I really do enjoy this formula. I kind of like these more than the Tarte ones. The Tarte ones are very thick, almost a little globby on my lips. These I think just sit a lot more comfortable. But let me show you next to Hourglass. This shade is called Mist. Now this rolls up versus Click, but as you'll see, I just find the formulas very, very similar between these two. This still is similar to the Tarte ones, which I'm gonna go ahead and swatch next. This, first of all, this Tarte one needs to be decluttered because it's broken and none will come up. Why have I been holding on to this? I don't know, because the mini that I have is the exact same shade. So I'm gonna keep the mini. The shade is called Rose. I do also have the plumping one. That one is actually in my everyday lipstick or everyday makeup drawer right now. So as you can see, they're all similar products, but there's a little bit more opacity from the one from Tarte. The Hourglass one is a little bit more sheer, and then I would say it's pretty similar to the ones from Flower. Though the Flower ones might not be quite as shiny reflective, but I think they're all incredibly similar. So I'm gonna keep this. One tinted lip balm from Becca, that tells you just how old this is, but this is in the shade Tide. I do really enjoy this formula. Definitely more sheer, less glossy than the others. You can see it looks so different even when I like move my arm. I wanna go ahead and keep that one, as well as this one from Persona called Meditate. This is their E-Balm, and I do really enjoy this formula. Again, it's a pretty nude. You have probably noticed from this lip declutter that I love nude lip shades. And for so long, I would try to like keep very bold lips or buy bold lips, thinking like, oh, I have so many nudes. But no, I mean, I like nudes, so that's why I have so many. This next one is also color changing. This is from Sigma. This is their moisturizing lip balm. It's another pH changing lip balm. I don't find that you notice the change as much on my arm, but on the lips with like the natural color of your lips beneath, it becomes this beautiful bright pink. I know I'm keeping most of these. I know, I'm sorry, but these three are also from Bite. So again, you know they're old. I have Acai Smash, Stinger, and Sugarcane. I definitely need to keep Sugarcane because this was like one of my favorite lip colors for so long. Maybe these should be in the other basket. I'm not sure, but I want to keep that one. Honestly, I will probably keep all three. Maybe not Acai Smash. I don't know though. Oops, there we go. Back in frame. I kind of want to keep Acai Smash just because, as you've seen, I don't really have anything this bright purple, and I think it's a unique shade. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and keep that. Out of this drawer, it was only, or this basket, it was only 2 declutters, so not too many. But again, not all my declutters are that ruthless. Like if I really like something, I don't want to declutter it just for the sake of decluttering it, and I really enjoy all of these. So let's go ahead and move on to the next basket. Actually, I guess it was kind of like 3 declutters because this one needs to be thrown out. Okay, the basket I've been dreading has been the lip glosses, but here we go. Also, I have Tilly here. She might make an appearance. She is wandering around here. Oh, or she might bump into the camera and make it shaky. Okay, this one actually was probably supposed to be in a previous one, but that's okay. Oh, got a hair on it. There's hair on everything. This is the CoverGirl Yummy Gloss. I have mine in the shade You're Just Jelly. They just came out with new shades of these. I really like this formula, like a lot. If I had to choose, I prefer the Milani, but I think they're both great and definitely want to keep this. The glosses are gonna be hard, I will tell you that right now. I feel like I'm just not gonna want to declutter any of these, but we also have the Finding Ferdinand collab with Khaki. This is the Limoncello Gloss. It is like a clear with these gorgeous gold sparkles in it. It smells like lemons. I have to keep this, of course. Some of these are so old that I'm like, Kelly, you should really declutter this, but it's very hard. This one I think has probably gone bad. This is from Urban Decay. This is the Hi-Fi Shine Lip Gloss in Snitch. I don't know, the smell test, it smells fine. I just, honestly, I can't even think of the last time that I wore this. So I think I'm gonna have to declutter this one. It is so old. Yeah, that's a bummer. I do also have this one from Urban Decay. Shade is Midnight Cowgirl. Again, I'm sniffing it and it smells fine, but I don't know if that's because it's like the mint ones, but I'm trying to think. Like, I've had this for a long time. I think I'm gonna keep it. I don't know. Should I? I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to. A couple Fenty Gloss Bombs. I've got, obviously, the super popular shade Fussy. I used to have like the original Fenty Glow one. I had a mini of it, but I used it up. Fussy is actually my favorite one though. And then I have two of the different Hot Chocolate Lit shades. I have the Heat one and then the regular one. So the regular one has like the sparkles in it. See, it's the most beautiful brown. It is like, I was nervous that it wouldn't look nice on me on my fair skin, but I actually still think it's so pretty. So I definitely want to keep that. And then I have the Heat one, which is like the plumping one. So this one looks a little bit different. Like the shade, first of all, is a little bit different. There's almost more red to it, whereas this one is a bit more neutral. And then this is just like the clear gloss. It doesn't have the sparkles in it. So as obnoxious as it is, I'm gonna keep both of these. I told you the gloss drawer was gonna be rough. This one I've really been liking. I mentioned this in a recent video. It is the Essence Hugs and Teddies lip gloss in the shade Kissed by Teddy. You'll see here, this like looks very different than all the others. It is like a liquefied lipstick. It has a lot more pigment than the other shades, similar to that older formula from Urban Decay, but I feel like most glosses these days look more like this. They're much more sheer. So having something with this like creamy, almost milky tone to it, I feel like you don't see as much. We've also got the This Is Juice gloss. Should this be in the other basket? Maybe, but this is from NYX. I've got the clear shade. It's called Coconut Chill. I love this. Definitely want to keep that one. I also have an Essence lip gloss. This is the clear shade of their Hi-Fi Shine. I know I'm like, Kelly, you should declutter that, but I don't know. I just like a clear lip gloss, so I'm gonna keep that. I absolutely love the Persona lip glosses, so I have a lot of them. I have, I believe, every shade that they make. I have one in my everyday makeup drawer though. So this is the gloss in pink. Let me just swatch them all and see if there's any I could get rid of. So there's pink. Here is coral, which I think is, see these, they have a bit more pigment, but you could sheer it out. So that's kind of what I like about coral. It's like a pretty summery tone. This one I don't use as much, but it's a unique shade for me for a gloss. This is Hibiscus. It's more of like a deep red. It reminds me of what I decluttered from Keys Soul Care, the shade that's similar to like Clinique Black Honey. It's like that vibe. I also have the shade Honey, which is one of my absolute favorites. I love this color. And then Toffee, which is a little bit deeper. The other shade that I'm missing right here is Peach, but I do have that. Toffee is similar but deeper, but not quite as deep as these from Fenty. A little bit warmer, as you see. Kind of similar to the Essence Teddy Bear one, but definitely not a dupe. And then we have Shortcake, which is a really pretty mauve. This is so obnoxious, but I'm like, should I keep all of these? I kind of want to keep all of these. I love the Persona glosses. I can't. I know, I told you the glosses were gonna be rough for me. But again, I don't want to declutter for the sake of decluttering. Like, I only want to declutter things I'm not using. So I've also got Twilight, which is kind of similar to that one that I shared, like the khaki collab, where it's sheer with sparkles, but these sparkles are a little more golden, whereas these are a little more yellow. This is, I think they look different on the lips, to be honest. Like, this is more sparkly, I would say. One that I will declutter though is the shade Savage from Urban Decay. I'm going to swatch it right here, but this is like this really bright pink. I have not worn this in years, so this one is going to go. I also have the shade Fuel, which part of me is like, has this gone bad? I'm running out of room on my arm. I love that color though. It's so pretty. I think I'm going to keep it until it like starts acting differently. It's still acting the same. I've got two from NYX. These are the Butter Glosses. Part of me is like, you should declutter these. I don't like the formula that much, but let me swatch them out. This one is Angel Food Cake. Like, these are fine. Where do I go? I'll just go further up my arm. See, these are fine. They're just a little bit globby. Okay, so they're a little bit globby, but I don't have a shade like Shortcake. And this one is called Fortune Cookie. It is this really light milky nude. I think I'm gonna keep both. And then I also have this one that I will be keeping also. This is from Milani. This is the shade Soft Rose. This is their like plumping, they say keep it plump lip gloss formula, but I don't think it's that plumping. But again, you have that more pigmented formula. This, I'm thinking those new Sigma ones are kind of like this from what I've seen from the swatches. I haven't tried them out at the time I'm filming this, but here we go. I'll try to get, here, let me zoom out a little bit. Now you can kind of see all of the swatches. So I'm keeping most of the glosses, but that's okay. Again, I only want to declutter if I'm actually like not using it. I don't want to declutter things that I still like, you know? Especially when it comes to a gloss, because this is like kind of hard to pass on to someone. So keeping those. We are now on to liquid lipsticks. I don't have too many because I don't love liquid lipsticks, but surprisingly, a lot of these are kind of like bright reds. But let's go ahead and start swatching them out. I have a couple from the Lip Bar. I really love their liquid lipstick formula because it's not too drying. This is the shade Hot Mama. There it is. It is like this. I want to start wearing red lipstick again. I used to be really into red, like I would wear it at least once a week. And I really have not worn a red in a long time, especially not one like saturated like this. Maybe like a muted red stain, of course, but nothing like bold like this. But got this one from the Lip Bar too. This one is called Hot Mess. It is another red, but not as deep, and it has much more of this like almost orangey, almost neon quality to it. I have two reds from Persona. I have Holy Grail and then Phoenix. Holy Grail is more of your traditional red, so I'm almost wondering maybe I can declutter this. I don't know, I probably don't need all these reds. They're all quite similar, but I also have Phoenix, which is a red that has a slightly more orange to it. You see, it's like a slightly different undertone. It's definitely in the same family, but I'm wondering which of these I could declutter. Maybe I'll keep all of them. I don't know. I don't have too many liquid lipsticks, but this one is Flamingo. It is like a brighter pink. Actually, I haven't worn this in a while. I feel like I should break out some of these liquid lipsticks, maybe challenge myself to wear these in a bit. I also have this one I'll definitely be keeping from NYX. This is the Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade London. This is like a very different formula than all the others. You see, these, they apply a lot more wet. This one has this like moussey texture to it, and it dries down not as matte as the others. Like it kind of always has this satin finish to it. It never fully dries down. It still has some transfer, but because of that, I find it really comfortable. And then this one from Persona is OG. When liquid lipsticks were everything, this was like the liquid lipstick. Do you remember that? Like I was so in love with this shade, and now I don't know if this is my color. Let me finish swatching all these out and then we'll make a decision. But I also have this from the Lip Bar. It's not a liquid lipstick, but I put it in this basket because it basically is a liquid lipstick. They call it a gloss, and it is a lip gloss because it never really like sets down, but I think of it as a liquefied lipstick because look at that pigment. Funny enough, I don't like this orange on myself, and also as I like open it up just now, like it smells bad. So this has definitely gone bad, which is always a bummer, but I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this one because I don't think I should be putting it on my lips. And then out of these, I'm looking at my arm, realizing that a lot of these swatches are pretty similar. So I'm definitely gonna be keeping NYX London for sure. And I think both of these reds from the Lip Bar, I'm thinking that this shade Hot Mama, which is the one swatched out right here, could be a really pretty like deeper shade for fall. It could be something also beautiful to pair with a deeper lip liner, or even, it wouldn't have to be a lip liner. You could take a black eyeliner and use that as your lip liner and then kind of fade it into this and have this beautiful deep ombre. So I kind of want to keep that one. I'm gonna keep these two from Persona. You know what? I don't have that many liquid lipsticks. I do wear all these, and I find that these two from Persona, like you can see it's these two actually, but you can see they're different. This one is much more orange. This is much more of like your true red. And again, I don't like to declutter just to declutter, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep all these actually. All right, I just went and washed my arm. There's a little bit of staining from those two, but no worries because we're about to do lip stains now. So these don't have a basket because they were just kind of like loose in the corner of the drawer, if you remember. but I'm like already asking myself, girl, do you want to swatch these on your arms and have stained striped arms for the next week? Maybe. Last time I swatched out my lip stains, I had the stain on my arms for like 2 to 3 days. Like there were, some of them faded quickly, but there are a couple of these in here that just do not want to budge, especially on like skin versus lips, you know? So let's go ahead and swatch these out. And I'll tell you right now, I think I'm gonna be keeping most of these because I really love lip stains, but at least for reference, I wanna swatch them because this video I also want to be helpful. In addition to the decluttering, I want you to have an idea of what these products are. So let's start off with probably the most popular one. We've got the Fenty lip stain. This is in the shade My Type. This is their Poutsicle lip stain. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it right here. This is the color it initially applies as, but once I get all these swatched out and they dry, I'll wipe it down so you can kind of see what the stain looks like. Funny enough, a lot of these I think stain a very similar color. Like the initial shade looks different for a lot of lip stains, but if it's a red lip stain, most of the time, the stain that you get long term looks pretty similar. So now we have this from Flower Beauty. I really love their lip stains. It's called the Bitten Lip Stain, and I have the shade Saucy. This for me is the closest dupe I've found for the Fenty. I've heard a lot of people say the e.l.f. dupes it, and I actually don't think the e.l.f. is as close of a dupe, though I do think the e.l.f. lip stain is really good. I also have a nude one, but it's basically empty right now. It's in my everyday makeup drawer, and I'm about to move it to my empties bin because I really can't get anything else out. But this one from e.l.f. is a little bit more, you can see, of that burnt orange shade. The color of this is called Spicy Sienna. And I like this, but I don't find it has the same longevity as these two. I think these two last much longer than this one from e.l.f. These from Kaja are my obsession, okay? I am gonna have to pop the names on the screen because they're not written on these, unfortunately. But I have this more pinky purple one, which I don't use this shade as often. You can see it's a very different color than the others, but I also think the stain that this leaves behind eventually still looks kind of like pinky red, definitely with a little bit more of that cool undertone to it. But I love these from Kaja, and especially this brown. I'm not even kidding, I have 2 of these. I have another one in my everyday makeup drawer because I'm obsessed. The brown I wear under almost every single lip look, and you see it here and you're like, whoa, that's like a deep brown. But on the lips, again, you gotta imagine like your natural lip color is peeking through a little bit, so the colors that you see on skin look different on the lips, because anything that has a little bit of sheerness to it, like a lip stain, your natural lip color is going to peek through. So on the lips, I don't think this looks as brown, and I don't think this looks as purpley, you know? And that's why sometimes with dupes, especially with lip stains, like, yeah, they might swatch slightly different on your skin on your arm, but on the lips, once your natural lip color is peeking through, the difference between like these two is minute. One of my absolute favorites, holy cow, this is the Weightless Water Stain from Ulta Beauty. So you can see very different formula than all these others. These are like much more creamy. This one is basically water. It applies so thin, but it makes a beautiful base if you want to put something on top, or B, it's just so pretty on its own. It's like the best lightweight, gorgeous stain. This one I should honestly wear more often. This is from REM, and it is kind of like, it's more like a lip liner, I guess, but they call it the lip stain marker. I do like how thin it is. The shade is called Popular. It's a little bit more berry. I'm like, I should get this in more of a neutral shade and just use it as like a lip liner stain. Like, I just think it's a really convenient type of product. We also have 2 more from Bite. I keep pulling out all these Bite lipsticks, and I'm ashamed of myself because this brand's so old, it's not even in business. But this is Sangria Slush, and this is Orange Fritz. When these launched, which truly, you guys, I shouldn't have these anymore because these have been out for so long. These are so old. But when these launched, I was obsessed with these. I don't know if you have been following me since then, but I would wear them constantly. And it's funny, you see these 2 right here and you're like, these are very different colors. They're really not. Like, I don't know why I'm reviewing this because, like I said, you couldn't buy this anymore. But these, funny enough, once they set down on the lips, I think they look almost identical. Like, you can't really tell the difference once you get the stain. These, oh my gosh, they do not fade away. These are on your lips for days and days and days. So like, I would have to plan it out. If I was gonna wear one of these, I would be like, okay, am I gonna be okay having red lips for the next 3 days? Because that stain does not budge. I also have another one from Ulta Beauty. This was their collaboration with Steffi Lynn. This was limited edition. Maybe this one I could declutter. This one is like next level staying power. So it's a similar formula to like the weightless water stain. I would say it feels less watery, but I would guess it probably is the same formula. It is just so like hot pink, so I don't tend to like that as much. So actually I'll go ahead and declutter that one. But all these others, I really am into lip stains, and while a lot of these look similar, I do want to keep all of them. So let this sit down for a second, and then I'll come back and kind of share with you the stain that you get remaining. Also though, while I'm waiting on that, this is everything I'm decluttering. It is 20 lipsticks, so you know, not the best ratio, but again, I never want to declutter just for the sake of decluttering, and these are all lipsticks that I just don't feel like I've worn in a while. Even looking at them, I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna miss these. Like, I'm just not really reaching for these, so I'm excited to move these out of my collection. But also, I just went ahead and tapped out these stains, and as you can see this one from Flower Beauty is just so long wearing. Last time I had lip stain swatched on my arms, that one would not budge for days and days and days. I will note that I do think these products perform slightly differently on the skin on my arm versus the way that they're going to react on the lips, so keep that in mind. But this is what they look like afterwards. Again, I think the flower one is the most stained behind. The elf one looks like it's really stained behind, but I do find that it actually kind of fades somewhat quickly. Let's put these things back into the drawers now. All right, so these are all where they were previously, though I am trying to decide if I keep the liquid lipsticks in here, because I don't have that many, because before I had the lip stains just along this corner like so, but I actually have more lip stains than I do liquid lipstick. So let's try to switch it out and see which one we prefer. Also, the lip stains are like a little bit bulkier, so it almost makes more sense for them to be in here, I think. Let's see. Also, this is after trying to wash the swatches off again. That Flower Beauty one's not going anywhere, and neither is the Ulta one. I will say though, this like shade of pink tends to linger more than other shades, but this is after like scrubbing my arms down. Yeah, I almost like this more just because these are a bit bulkier, and I think it makes more sense to have them over here in this corner. Yeah, I really like this. I feel a lot better about everything. Could I have decluttered more lip glosses? Yes, probably. But I think this drawer already just is a lot more manageable than it was previously. And I like the setup. I know it's not for everyone, but I think especially while I'm just trying to keep my lip products in this one singular drawer, like this setup works for me. So we've got the gloss, liquid lipsticks, like lip oils, bullet lipsticks, sticks, and stains. So I feel good about this. I've considered before like swapping it out and doing like nudes, reds, blah, 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 but like as you can see, it's mostly just nudes. It's mostly nude. I love a nude lip. A couple of bold shades, but the bold ones are mostly just like different variations of red. So for me and my collection, I think it makes the most sense to have things split up by category. So I'm very, very, very happy about this. But now we need to go through my everyday makeup drawer and put some of those products back so we can do a new shop my stash. So let's move over to that now. Okay, as you can see, my everyday makeup drawer is kind of a mess right now. Let's start off just by like, I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna take out of here, what's gonna stay in the drawer. I think both of these palettes are gonna go back. I've been wearing Identity a little bit lately. This is my favorite palette from Persona. I've also, this surprisingly I might keep in even though I don't love this palette, but I've been wearing it a lot lately. Just this shade right here all over my lid. This is the KELLYG Cosmetics palette, like the bronze palette. So I'll actually probably keep the Kylie in, put the Persona back. I've been wearing my Kosas powder so much lately, and I want to keep this in because I would love to use this up soon. I'm like really close to hitting pan on it, so I'm going to keep that in. Another one that I'm about to use up, do you see this? This is my Tarte Shape Tape Cloud. I'm about to be so sad when this is done. This is like my favorite foundation, and I think it's probably gonna be used up in like the next month. So I'll keep that in because I love it. Also, I have been wearing Rare Beauty Blush in Bliss pretty much daily, so we'll keep that in. We'll keep in my favorite concealer, the Natasha Denona concealer. I wear the shade L4. I just got an affiliate code with Natasha Denona, so if you're buying anything on this site, I have 15% off now. It's just KELLYG. This I'm gonna take out of here and put in my purse because this is almost always in my purse. This is the Fenty mattifying powder, so I love having this just for like a touch up when I'm out and about. I have had my REM foundation in lately. This is the shade Light 1N. I also have Light 4G, which is more of like your green olivey undertone. I wear this if I'm like really tan, or I kind of mix these together or mix it in with my white mixer, but I'm trying to decide if I want to keep these in. Probably, actually, I'll keep these in. We'll keep in my favorite bronzer, the Fenty bronzer that I actually just hit pan on. That one will stay in. I think most of everything else is probably gonna go back. Actually, no, my Merit bronzer, again, I've been wearing this every single day lately. I don't know what it is. I cannot stop wearing this. And then this blush from Lorac is one of the oldest products in my collection, but I'm going to use it up very soon, as you can see. So let me take out some of the things that need to go back. Also, I want to keep this in because I'm still testing it out. This is the new like shadow stick formula from Fenty. This one is in the shade Sip and Sparkle, so I want to keep testing this out, so I will keep that in. So these few things are going to stay in here, but I'm thinking I also want to add not too many things, but maybe a highlight. I haven't used highlight in so long, so let me just throw one in here and see. And then I'm thinking at least one more blush. I'm wanting to do more of like a peachy option, maybe in a powder. And then maybe we'll go through some single shadows and see if there's anything that I'm wanting to grab. So let's go over to my makeup drawers. Okay, starting off in the cheek drawer, since we're not grabbing like a whole new basket, we're just swapping out a few things. I'm really trying to decide on the blush because I'm wanting to do something a little more peachy. So here are some options we've got. Okay, one of my favorites, the ColourPop blush in the shade Swirled. I'm kind of thinking that this is on the wrong side right now, but we have this Milani one. This is their super famous shade Luminoso. And then Georgia from Persona is always my like go-to peach. So I kind of am like, let me not do Georgia right now just because I've done it so recently. Also though, I have this Catrice peach. This one is in the shade Peach Heaven. Here they are all next to each other. I'm almost thinking the Milani one because it's a little bit glowy, it's slightly different. Also, actually, I think any of these would layer so beautifully over top of Bliss, which was the like matte nude blush from Rare Beauty. This is tough. I'm thinking I'm not gonna do the Catrice just because I've had this in a lot recently. I'm kind of between these two. Let's do the Milani, and I'll leave the ColourPop for now, but maybe we'll put this one in soon. And then I also want to grab a highlighter. This, I just am not normally into highlight anymore, but I'm wanting to see. Maybe I could be. Maybe I just need to like play around with my highlighters again. So I'm like, which one should I try? I'm almost thinking Becca Champagne Pop. Is this what's gonna bring me back to highlights? I don't know. Maybe I'm not gonna come back to being obsessed with highlights, but I kind of just want to throw one in and see. This is actually one of my favorites. This one is the REM Miss Mercury highlight. I think it's just so pretty and like a little bit more sheared out, which is kind of more what I'm into these days. Let me try this one because the Becca one is slightly more bold, which I like a more subtle highlight. So let me go ahead, add Miss Mercury, and I'm even thinking these two together, if I wanted like a really beautiful glowy cheek moment, these would layer really pretty on top of each other. So that is all from here. Let's look at some single eyeshadows. All right, this drawer is where I keep my creams and my single eyeshadows. They're kind of overflowing because I have a lot, but this is where I've got cream blush in this basket, cream bronzers and highlights are in this basket, stick shadows, and then single shadows. So I'm thinking, let's grab something. I'm not sure what. You can see they're kind of overflowing. The new Merit ones don't really fit in here. I have to leave them on the side. I'm almost thinking Oyster Pearl from Charlotte Tilbury. I just feel like I don't use this one enough, especially for the price. I feel like I should try to reach for this a little more often. Let me put this in. Let's see, maybe I can grab a second one though. Honestly, if I wanted to do just like a really beautiful glowy look, I think this would be really pretty with these two on the cheek. You know what I haven't had in a while? The e.l.f. No Budge eyeshadow. I have a brown one. The shade is called Sand Dune. This formula reminds me a bit actually of the Charlotte Tilbury ones, but these are of course matte. So this is what it looks like. I tend to wear this as like a base a lot of the time. So I'll lay this down and then put some other shades on top. But I also like it as just like a one and done single shadow look. So I think I'm gonna grab both of these. Because I also have the Fenty shadow stick in, that's probably gonna be it for eyeshadow sticks. So I'm thinking that's probably all we need to grab from the drawers. All right, I've got everything back into the drawers now. So I like to keep these separated with these little baskets. I put the everyday makeup in here, and then the brushes I'm using in here. And then along the bottom, I know it's a little tough to see, but along the bottom I have lip liners, which I have far too many of, but I love lip liners. So I've got lip liners, eyeliners, and then I've got some of my like current mascaras and brow products over there. But this is ready to go. Oh no, wait, actually this. I put the Kosas in there. But we've got these all separated out, but now I need to wash these brushes. I'm pretty overdue, so let's go wash my brushes, plus some of my like sponges and other tools. I've never used the Beauty Blender liquid cleanser before, but I figured we would try this today. A lot of the times I will use like bar soap actually. I find that is like one of the easiest and most effective ways to clean my brushes. But I've heard really good things about the Beauty Blender cleanser. I know they have like a couple different ones. They have like a solid one. This one says limited edition on it, but I know they have a few. Let me know down below how often you wash your brushes. I feel like I don't wash mine enough, but I also have a lot of brushes, so it's not like I'm using them dirty. I feel like I'm like swapping through them, but by the time I get to the point that I like am washing them, I feel like I'm standing over my sink for like an hour. I use the Sigma Matte. I've had this for years. I think it's really great for getting in there and getting the product off, but you know, you don't need something like this necessarily. You could just like wash it on the back of your hand like that. Let me know also what you use to clean your brushes with. Like I said, I often use bar soap, but I've also used like a really gentle shampoo, or even before I've used like a facial cleanser if I have one that I don't really love the formula of. I don't find that quite as effective, but you definitely can use that. I feel like brush washing is one of the ways I'll use up products that I don't love. Like I've had shampoos that I don't like so much, like the Ordinary one. It just didn't really do anything for my hair, but I would use it to wash my brushes because it's nice and gentle. I find myself doing the same thing with like a skincare. If I have a skincare product I don't love on my face, I'm like, well, let me use this on my chest because I still do like to apply some skincare there, but not necessarily wanting to use my like nice expensive products there. So I think of brush washing as like a similar thing where I'm like, let me use up the stuff I wouldn't otherwise. I really do just love a reset moment like this though, where I can redo my everyday makeup drawer, wash my brushes. I feel like it gets me in a great mindset to start the week. You know, I'm doing this on the weekend and I feel like I'm like ready to take on the week after doing a bit of a reset. Also, there is like nothing more satisfying than using freshly washed brushes. Like I just love that so much. Okay, time for these now. We've got some sponges and also these are my like triangle puffs. So I'm going to wash all these also with the Beauty Blender liquid cleanser that we've been using. I wash my sponges, I would say probably every like third time that I use it, I do wash it. Because I feel like it's pretty easy to wash your sponge just as you're already wetting it, you know? I can't say I have loved the like liquid cleanser on the brushes that much though. Like, I don't necessarily think it's been better than other methods I've used to wash my brushes. The one I've heard a lot of good things about, though, is the solid one. So maybe I need to try that one. This is actually a beauty blender. The purple sponge, the like darker purple one over there, that is from KELLYG Soul Care. I actually don't like it at all. It is like really stiff and I don't think it gives an even finish. Or actually, maybe that one's from Tarte. I think this one is from Tarte and that one is from KELLYG Soul Care. Neither one I really like that much, to be honest. I do think the beauty blender is great. Can you find dupes that are not $20? For sure, yes. But sometimes the beauty blender is on sale, especially lately. It was like, pretty sure it was on sale in the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. So like if you can get it on a deal, I think it's worth it. But I also don't think you need to spend that much on sponge, you know? Yeah, though, not sure about this cleanser because I still feel like this is not fully rinsing out the way I was hoping it would. Also, do you like that I'm in my pajamas right now? I feel like I have been at this video forever. It's been a few days of like the organizing and the cleaning. I'm gonna try just like scraping this on the mat. I don't normally do this, but I feel like there's a lot of product in here that's not coming off. Oh, see, I knew that was a bad idea. I knew I was gonna do that and I just fully ripped up the sponge, so don't recommend. Well, that was a mistake. So these are the little triangle puffs. I feel like you can get these pretty clean and like back to normal. I have heard of some people saying they put them in their washing machine. I would assume as long as you do it on like a gentle cycle and maybe even put it in like a bag and then let it air dry, I assume that should probably work fine also, but I think they're pretty easy to clean by hand. You guys, why did I do that with my sponge? Even as I was doing it, I was thinking this might tear the sponge. Oh well, though, maybe that means it was time to replace that one anyways. But sometimes when I'm washing these, I'll just kind of like fold it into itself and almost like try and rub it against itself to get some of that product out. And then I will let this sit out on like a towel to dry and kind of reshape it a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish cleaning these sponges and everything, and I think this is where I'm gonna end the video. I hope this was fun and satisfying to watch. I know I really like these types of videos. I feel very prepared for the upcoming week after doing kind of a bit of a reset like this. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will go ahead and see you in my next one.